Well, I started MoneySchool Canada for two reasons. Number one, essentially the financial literacy crisis that exists in Canada as well as globally. And secondly, I did one of the favorite jobs that I had within the financial services industry was heading up the CIBC Youth Banking Program. And that was really fun, working with kids and parents and really bringing super duper information to people such that they could improve their financial situations. So that was really the two main drivers, being passionate about teaching people about money and having a history and a bit of a career and experience in it already.
What worries you most as you look at financial literacy among young people in this country?
Debt. In one word, debt. It's scary how much I think one of the key things that parents can teach kids about money is from a management point of view is delayed gratification, essentially. So you want something now. We've changed into a right now society. I want it now. And saving for things, waiting for things until you can afford them has become sort of, I don't know, like mashing your own corn. Mm-hmm. It's less heard of. So I find that really that would be the number one thing, delayed gratification.
Are you of the opinion, for example, that giving children an allowance is a good thing or a counterproductive thing?
There are two schools of thought on that. When you listen to sort of some of the people that are well versed in financial literacy and kids, the two schools of thought are allowance can teach two things: earning money and managing money. And it really depends on what the parent views to be the lesson that is best learned by their child. It's not for anyone to say, your child needs to understand earning money. So when you give a child allowance, if it's attached to chores, for example, you're teaching earning as well as managing. If you give a child allowance and don't attach it to chores, you're giving them the opportunity to manage money. The argument against tying allowance to chores is in that if the child says, hey, guess what, Mom? I'm not going to do the ironing. I don't like taking the garbage out. I don't want your money. Then the money management learning stops. So that's, in a nutshell, the argument for and against allowance and for and against tying to chores. But it's really up to the parent. My opinion always is, to teach a kid about money, give them some. Whatever works for you. And the second thing around that, when you give them money, set parameters. What is the money for? What are they managing to? Are they managing a clothing budget? Are they managing an entertainment budget? Are they managing their, snacks after school? What is the money for? Once you set those parameters, again, it's the stick-to-itiveness, which is where a lot of the learning falls down. Here's $10. It is for clothing. Oh, look, Mom, there's a top. It's $14.99. It's $14.99. Can I have the extra? Sure you can, little Johnny. Again, lesson not learned. So however parents decide to handle that, if you feel that you want to educate your child in the earning arena, you're achieving the two objectives, earning and managing, because the child actually has money in his mitt. I have money in my mitten. I know what I'm supposed to do with it. You're giving them the chance to make choices. If you choose to link it to just give allowance and just further that money management message, then again, the child has money in his mitt. Both good. However, and the arguments 2 and 4, or 4 and against, well, they're interesting and they're both make sense. But it's really for the parent to decide what lesson you're trying to teach.
So what age then do you suggest that lessons about money should begin between parent and child?
As soon as they can understand need and want. So young. 2, 3. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. As soon as, because kids today, I mean, so much of the financial literacy messaging is around, kids don't understand need and want. Well, that's so rudimentary. Kids do. I researched this. I've taught more than 3,000 kids in Toronto schools financial literacy. I've assessed their what I call their initial knowledge. So what do you know before you take the financial literacy workshop I'm about to give you? And kids know. They know a need and a want. Parents are doing a great job on that. And that's sort of the easy one. That's the easy part. The managing money and actually saying, if you want something bigger that is beyond what an allowance might work for. So you get $6 a week allowance, you want a baseball glove that is $70. Well, that's a number of weeks then. Rather than just saying, okay, here's the glove. So MoneySchool Canada focuses on things that the kids need to learn that are not that they won't learn elsewhere. The harder lessons, like how do banks work? Interest. Interest is a very difficult concept for kids to understand, that you can both be paid interest and have to pay it. Rent for money, essentially. So teaching the concepts in ways that the kids can grasp in their own language has really helped us to deliver very significant results. Zeroing in on those lessons that kids don't learn elsewhere, we don't teach kids how to write a check. Parents, for the most part, can teach a kid to write a check. So keeping the information, condensing and so I'll say cherry picking through the information such that we're wringing maximum value out of that precious time that we might get in a classroom. Like, let's face it, teachers have a lot to do. They have a lot to do to deliver to current curriculum, not including new recommendations around financial literacy. So we zero in on the things that are most practical, that the student will most likely integrate and internalize and use.